How's my hair look? Looks good? Sure? Got it all? Great. What's up, fellow nerds? It is me, Jamocha from Sounds Nerdy, and this is the Blip, the show in which I like to talk about news, highlights, and events from the past week in the world of tech and video games. Hoping one day you will join me in the conversation. Let me give you a quick rundown of the show and how things are going to go here. First, I like to kick things off with what I like to call the Tech 5, which I picked 5 stories from the past week, counting down from 5 all the way to number 1, which will be the topic of this show. I will dive into that topic in a little more detail, give it a little bit more time. And then after that, I like to go over what's new in the world of tech and video games. It could be a new gadget, a new technology, something new. If it's new to me, I'm going to cover it, so deal with it. And last but not least is a segment I like to call What the Hell. Basically, it's if there was a head scratching event or something that happened in the world of tech or decision that was made, I will cover it. All right, enough of the pleasantries. Let's get down to business. All right, folks, kicking it off at number 5 this week is an article called Fitbit Buys Coin to Help with Mobile Payments. This article comes from Engadget. Let's dig into the article a little bit. Fitbit is purchasing almost all of Coin. More on that in a little bit. The payment startup that developed a universal credit card replacement. The world's biggest maker of wearable technology can now leverage Coin's know-how and integrate NFC-based commerce into its hardware. Fitbit has already said that there are no plans to integrate Coin setup into its products in 2016, but you can be sure that in 2017 they will implement that new technology into their lineup. Going down a little bit more, the deal specifically excludes the Coin 2.0 hardware, the universal card that integrates every credit card you own into one. So unfortunately, Fitbit will not get that, but it's still a smart move for them to get into the mobile payments market. That is a emerging market, and a lot of people are getting on board with that. And about Fitbit, another article I want to switch over to. Very quickly, Fitbit's lead in the wearable world shrinks due to newcomers. They're still number 1 as of right now, but I'm going to scroll down to this chart here to let you see. One of the guys that gained ground on them is Xiaomi. You can see that this chart shows first quarter 2015 and 2016. You can see that Xiaomi ended up having a 41% growth over first quarter last year compared to this year. And you can see that Fitbit actually shrunk a little bit. So Fitbit is still the leader right now, but I think adopting some mobile payments should help them secure that lead going to the future. So I think this is a smart move by Fitbit. Coming in at number 4, ladies and gents, Philips is set to release its 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray player. So another one into the market. Following on the footsteps of the Panasonic DMP UB900 and the Samsung UBD K8500, which were released earlier this year, there's another one entering market, and this is the Philips Blu-ray player, 4K Blu-ray player. It was shown at CES, and this player will go on sale in June at a price of $400. So it is cheaper than the other two, so that is a good price point for Philips. The player can of course play 4K Blu-rays, and DVDs, and it's compatible with 4K HDR content, so that is excellent as well. And you can also stream 4K content to it as well. Some more specs about it. There are Ethernet ports and USB inputs as well as built-in Wi-Fi, plus twin HDMI outputs and a digital optical out. So all the things that I would expect on a 4K Blu-ray player. Okay, at number 3, this is from The Verge. Chromebooks outsold Macs for the first time in the US. Yes, that Chromebook, the really slimmed down OS that costs about $200, $300. Google's low-cost Chromebooks outsold Apple's range of Macs for the first time in the US recently. While Odyssey doesn't typically break out Windows versus Chromebook sales, The analyst confirmed milestone. Chrome OS overtook Mac OS in the US in terms of shipments for the first time in the first quarter of 2016. So this is a good sign for Google. Shows that they have some momentum building. And on top of that, switching over to this other article here, Chrome OS is getting Android apps and Play Store. Just announced this week at the Google I/O conference. More on that a little bit later. So again, they're going to get all the Android apps and the Play Store coming to the Chromebook to give it a little bit more of a fleshed out laptop feel. So this is actually going to help the Chromebook and give it a little bit more momentum. I don't expect it to take over Mac sales anytime soon, but this is very interesting to see that they did outsell them in the first quarter. But I think this will help them going forward. All right, at number 2 from techworm.net, Samsung patents a smartwatch which will project an interface onto your hands. As you can see here from the patent picture below, the picture above here. Scroll down here. Samsung has filed a patent that could actually make your wearable more interesting and fun to use. The latest patent shows that the smartwatch relies on a projector to beam parts of the user interface onto the wearer's skin, on the forearm, or the back of the hand. Here's a brief description of it. The wearable device includes an image projector configured to project a virtual UI screen, a camera configured to capture an image, and a processor configured to detect a target area from the image captured by the camera. So you can see this figure here. So this is a depiction of the smartwatch displaying on your forearm, so you get a little bit more room on your forearm. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder how that is going to work with an article of clothing over it. It'd be interesting to see how that interface interacts with that. One thing I also want to know, because we've seen this technology before in like a projectable keyboard, so I wonder if hopefully Samsung has figured out to make it more reliable and more consistent. So looking forward to it. It is a pretty sweet tech, and I'm excited about this, so I can't wait to see more of this. And now for the number 1 item and the topic of the show is Google I/O. So this week, Google had their annual Google I/O conference where they talk about all things Google, of course. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna get right into it and just go over some of the details real quick. First off, they talk about Assistant, which is their rival to Microsoft's Cortana and Apple Siri. What they showed with the Assistant was very impressive. It really is leaps and bounds above what Microsoft and Apple is doing with their voice assistants. She referring to the Google Assistant is really intelligent. She's really smart. She can understand context. What basically Google's goal is for everybody to have their own personal search engine or own personal Google. They start off things such as if you were asking the assistant, say, Assistant, who is the director of X-Men Apocalypse? She would reply back saying Bryan Singer is the director of Apocalypse. And your next follow-up question would be something like, what other movies did he direct? And Siri would know that I'm still talking about Bryan Singer and would give me the list of all of his movies without me having to explicitly say what are Bryan Singer's other movies that he directed. So that's one of the intelligent things that Assistant is doing. I'm going to move on to another thing, which is Google Home, which is a new product. Again, this is another product that's a rival to what Amazon is doing with Echo. This is a thing that's going to sit in your home. Again, this is going to have that assistant built into it so you can actually talk to it. It will be integrated into your home so it can actually control your Nest devices. It can control your TV and things like that. You can talk to it and get like your calendar and Google searches, anything like that. So again, they're trying to make this essential to your home, and it looks pretty good. They also talked about 2 new social applications, one being Allo, which is a messaging app, and the second being Duo, which is a video chat app. With Allo, it has things like smart reply. So based on the conversation, it will automatically suggest smart replies for you. You can choose to accept those, or you can type your own message. And with Duo, it's sort of like Google. It's like Hangouts, where it's a video chat service. But basically, the cool feature about this is once you call somebody, it actually shows a preview before you actually pick up the message. So you can actually see what's going on before that. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, Android N. They announced a lot of new features in Android N, totaling over 250 plus major enhancements. They're boasting things like improved performance, faster installs up to 75%. They're also saying that the applications will require 50% less storage. So that's good. That means more apps that you can install on your phone. You also can quick reply to messages right from the system tray. So you can just pull down the tray, tap on a message, and do a quick reply from that. So without actually having to open up the full-blown message application. So that's pretty cool as well. They also talked about Daydream, which is their VR headset and actually their VR platform. The VR headset itself is a big step above Google Cardboard. It's actually a full-blown headset. It actually comes with a remote control that you can use on 3-axis pitch, yaw, and roll. Good thing about that is that it's actually included in the box, so that's a very good way for users to dive right into VR, because you can get the full experience with the controller, unlike some of the VR headsets out now, mainly Samsung Gear VR and the Google Cardboard. Those don't have controllers built into them, so that's a smart move by them. Another one, Android Wear 2 is coming out. This time Android Wear 2, it actually has standalone apps, so you can actually have applications installed on the watch itself or within Android Wear 2.0. Actually, if you have a watch that has a cellular service built into it, this can actually stand alone and be separate from your smartphone, so you can leave your smartphone somewhere else and still able to do everything that you can do. They're also going to implement a keyboard for the watch. Not quite sure how that's going to work on that little tiny screen, but it also has hand recognition, so you can actually write on the face of the watch and actually create messages that way. And last but not least is the one thing that I'm actually excited for is Android Instant Apps. So the premise behind this is that instead of having to download a application just to say watch a video or to get a link or to purchase a clothing item or something, once your applications are modularized, which is developers going to have to do, meaning they're going to have to break the app up into little pieces of chunks, which each works individually by themselves. So if ever I needed to get something, I could just launch that. Say for instance, if somebody sends me a link in the message, I can click on that link and it'll launch just that portion of the application instantly without having to download the whole application. So that is actually pretty cool, and that's one of the things I am really excited for, so I can't wait to see that. All right, that was a quick wrap up of the Google I/O conference. A lot of impressive things. I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff coming to fruition, and we'll see what happens. All right, moving on to the next section. It is what's new in tech. All right, this next article is by way of BGR, and it's Google and Levi will release a touch-sensitive jacket out later this year. Actually, it comes out in 2017. The beta does release this year. Come on, BGR, get your shit together. All right, going on to the article. Touch-sensitive clothing has been one of the promised inventions coming in just a few years for a while now. But with a partnership between Google and Levi promising to make an actual tangible product within a year, things are getting real. All right, the project falls within the domain of ATAP or ATAP, Google's Skunk Works Special Projects Division, and it's codenamed Project Jacket. The idea is pretty simple. Levi will design a denim jacket and Google will build a touch-sensitive area into the cup. So that is actually pretty dope. So I'm going to just show the video, just a little bit of the video right here so you can actually get a sense of it. So just reading a little bit more of the article while this video is playing. You can see there is a touch-sensitive panel that is woven directly into the fabric of the jacket. And Levi says that it is as tough as the rest of the material. Most importantly, it's even washable. The guts of the processor and Bluetooth connector are built into the removable band which you have to take off before throwing into the laundry. Okay, so you do have to take that part off. Okay, the same band houses LEDs, which help with the notifications. So as you can see here in the video, it is pretty intuitive. It looks pretty simple to use, and this is going to be actually geared towards people who actually ride bikes a lot, or probably if you are walking a lot. So that's pretty cool. So just a very quick glance at that video here. I will make sure to put a link in the description down below so you can actually check out that full video. So my only thought is, how much this actually going to cost a jacket? I don't know what Levi jean jackets run for nowadays, maybe 100, 200 bucks. I'm thinking this thing is going to cost 300, 350, 400, just my guess, but whatever. And that is everything I have for you today. But before I leave, I want to go back over to Google stuff. And I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat. Don't know if you can see it very well, but anyway, Google announced a lot of stuff in the conferences this past week, and a lot of stuff is basically going to be gathering a lot of your information. So Big Brother will be looking down on you and knowing everything that's going on, especially with that Google Home device sitting in your home, always listening to everything that you do, and it's going to be on the internet. But of course, Google's privacy policy will say, well, we're not going to share or record any personal information about you. Bullshit. How in the hell are they going to be able to serve you up stuff that's going to be tailored right to you if they don't gather information about yourself, about you in particular? So a lot of scary stuff. It's cool stuff. I don't know. Sounds like the rise of machines to me, but that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this particularly, and just leave a comment down in the section below. All right, there you have it, folks. That is this week's Blip. I want to thank you again for checking out this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit a like button and subscribe to this channel. Once again, I have been Jamocha from Sounds Nerdy. You can follow me on Twitter at SNJamocha. Make sure you follow Sounds Nerdy on Twitter at Sounds Nerdy. And until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.
I will rise to the top, rise to the top. I will never stop, I will never give up.